Grab your coffee, grab your chart. From the harbor lights to the shipyard start. Every wake and wave, every job out here. We're talking real life stories, my maritime career. This is my maritime career. From the docks to the deep out there. Dreams on deck and your path so clear. Set your course with my maritime career.
Hey, this is Trey Baker. I'm president at Blue Water Maritime School, and welcome to My Maritime Career. This is our YouTube channel, and our goal here is just to give you some unbiased information about the maritime industry to become kind of your source of truth. Now, clearly, we are biased, right? We love our school, and we would love for you to come here.
Right.
But at the same time, we know there's just a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of questions out there, and we just wanted to be the place where you could come and find out some answers. So today, as we start, I'm sitting with someone that a lot of you probably recognize. This is Dee Dee Forehand.
Hey, y'all.
And so Dee Dee is like all over TikTok, all over all the social media and everything. Every week, check this out. We graduated 6 people from a class last week. 6 people in the room. 2 of them, I was like, how'd you guys find out about us? I saw Dee Dee, and that's why I decided to come here. So it's inescapable, right? So she had to be the first person. But not only is she great on all the social media platforms, but she's a great source of information. And since this is our first one, we wanted to start off with some really basic questions and just kind of give you some information out there. So we're just going to jump right in. And so first question, just so they can kind of all, for those few people out there who don't know who you are, right? Help them kind of understand, how did you start your maritime career?
It was either the Air Force for me or the Army. I was thinking about going to the Army, or I know I wanted to travel, and I know I didn't want to go under oath. I didn't want anybody to control me. I wanted to be in my free will of doing this. So a few cousins of mine, hey Dee, you should get into the merchant marine industry, not knowing too much about it. They gave me a little insight. I did a little research, and I found that we had a school right here in Jacksonville, Florida, Blue Water Maritime School, when they were on Blandon Boulevard. Went there, because I was going to school at the time at FSCJ, not knowing exactly what avenue I wanted to go down, whether it was nursing, being a teacher, like I was just in the in-between. So when I came to Blue Water, Mr. James was one of the very first instructors that I actually had. That was like my first course. So Mr. James, a lot of people know him. He is a big name in the industry, and a lot of people was telling me, yeah, you go there, you meet Mr. James. Mr. James gonna make sure you get through. Mr. James, actually, I call him my granddaddy. And he's not actually my granddaddy, but that's what he was to me. And he always admired me for coming to class early, an hour early, just sitting there chatting with him, getting insight. That's what I do. You know, you want to sit down, you want to talk to people, you want to network. I've always been about that. So coming here to Blue Water Maritime School, going through the program, even he had, I think it's is it Croy Lloyd through MSC.
Oh, yeah.
He came in the classroom, he talked to us, told us, hey, we got a job fair coming up. We're here off Beach Boulevard. You should come. Came, interview. You know, he told come dressed to impress, dressed down. I had my all my documents. I had my resume. I was just ready. You know, go in there. They give you everything you need to know. They tell you about the program, how you can start. So first thing you want to do with MSC is build a profile with them. That's where you upload all your documents, and they want corner to corner. So they want everything fit in that one little envelope that they give you. Put everything in there. It's just a waiting game with them. So I started with them.
Hey, I can just stop you right there real quick. So first of all, MSC is Military Sea Lift Command. Mr. Gary, right?
Mr. Gary.
Yes, right, Mr. Gary. And so they are basically, what they do is they support all the naval ships that are out there, take supplies to them and everything. So it's a federal government job, great place to start your career.
Definitely.
But since we're right here, I want to pause here for just a second, because one of the questions I get all the time, right? Everybody, no matter where I go, is can I get a job? Yeah, I can come through there, I can pay for the school and all that. Can I get a job? And so the answer I always give is the industry is hungry for people right now. I've got tons of newspaper articles that are talking about what a shortage there is of workers. So to my answer is, yeah, you can get a job, right?
Right.
But there still seems to be some folks out there that are just like, well, I tried and I couldn't and all that kind of stuff. So talk about, like, what kind of mindset do you have to take that first job after you get your ordinary seaman certification, or you get your certificates and you've submitted and you're ready to go start working? What's your mindset have to be for that first job?
You have to be able to know that it's going to be a waiting period, because how can you have no experience, this is your first job, I'm just going to hire you. You know, a lot of companies do not hire entry level. You have to do research, you have to network, you have to put videos out there, go to the union halls, you know, talk to people, you know, because what it was for me, I knew I was going to work for MSC. There was no waiting. There was no calling and applying for no other jobs. I knew that I was going to get that job because 2 weeks before I put my 2-week notice in at the Mayo Clinic, because I come from the medical field. So I knew it. I already talked to God about it. I went in the meditation room. I prayed. I cried. And God just said, hey, D, just chill. I got you. You're going to get this job. You know, just be calm. So, of course, I was applying for other jobs. Other jobs was actually coming to me. Even waiting on MSC, I drove from Jacksonville to cut off Louisiana to Edison West. I met Nikki Collins. He was their recruiter then. Everybody knew who Nikki was. Went to meet Nikki. Didn't have an appointment. I just knew when that door opened for me, I was going to be the first one there. First one there. Me and this guy named Mike drove down there. We talked. I think his assistant was Vivian. She had us sit down, and he was just so ecstatic that, oh my God, y'all drove all the way from Jacksonville, and we did. And we were there before they opened up, and we sat in the car. We slept for a little bit till they opened up. He hired us on the spot.
So let's talk about this for a minute, and then we'll see how far we get into your
Okay.
journey. This
Okay.
Dee Dee's probably going to be back. Let me just go ahead and tell you right now, because I think this is a real important topic. So part of what I say to people too is if you're willing to work, you can find a job.
You can.
Right. And so again, that's easy for me to say. I'm not out there doing it.
Right.
But is that true? And then kind of help everybody understand, like, what does that mean, willing to work? Because some folks are like, well, I tried a couple places, nobody called me back. And it doesn't matter if you're maritime or what industry you're in, that approach is never going to work. Right. Action is where the miracle takes place. You have to be willing to get out there. So just kind of speak to that a little bit.
You have to, if I want a job, I'm not going to sit and wait for them to call me. You're going to get on that phone and you're going to call them. Hey, I put an application in 2 weeks ago. My name is, I'm getting ready, I just graduated. I got all my credentials. I'm ready to start working. Do you have any available jobs for me? You do that. There's staffing agencies out there you can call. It's so many different things that you can do to follow up on your your resume and your application. People don't want to do that. They will wait for the calls to come in. You have to be active if you want a job. That's what I always tell them. Make sure you have a plan. Hey, if I don't hear back them for like a week, I'm going to call them in the morning. I'm going to leave messages. I'm going to send emails. You have to do that.
Yes. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C.
Right.
Right. Because the other thing too is you might need to change your approach.
Right.
Right. I mean, just if you're trying something over and over and it's not working, you might have to look at your information that you're putting out there and try to figure out what's going on. Here's another thing. I know everyone interviews differently.
Right.
Right. But sometimes you have to think about how you interview. So when you go in to talk to people and everything, I don't know, what's your approach? How do you get yourself in the right headspace and everything to actually have that face-to-face conversation, interview with somebody?
With me, what I do is I pray first, and I have a big mirror at home, so I stand in front of the mirror, and I give out those questions that I know that they will ask me. So I'm reciting this stuff in my head, and then I'm answering it through the mirror. So you have to prepare yourself, and sometimes you got to think outside of the box. Who knew that driving down there to cut off Louisiana that day, knowing I didn't know nothing, I didn't know if I had to get no job, I didn't have, I had all my resume and stuff on the computer, on my phone. I didn't know I was going to get a job, but it's about your approach, how you walk in there. Okay, look, Nikki, we just came down here because we knew you guys were hiring, and, I just drove from Jacksonville, and I'm really looking for a job, and I know you guys hire entry level. What can I do? And that man told us, because y'all came here, y'all got the job.
So I just said, action's where the miracle takes place.
Yep.
Right? You get nowhere without the action.
You don't.
And so here's what I wrote down. Like, pray, prepare, approach.
That's
right?
it.
So if you're looking for a 3-step process, I don't know where you're at spiritually and everything,
Right.
but hey, praying's not going to hurt.
It's
right?
not.
So pray about it. Prepare yourself. That is so important.
Right.
I've done job coaching many, many times with people, mock interviews, all that sort of stuff. It might feel silly. You might think it's silly.
Right.
Let me tell you what feels worse. Being in the interview and not being able to answer the question, or driving away from the interview going, what in the world? I should have said A, B, C, right? And instead I said D, E, F, right? So that feels worse. So don't think it's silly. It's not silly. Preparing, mock interviewing, all that sort of stuff is so helpful in the interview process.
And don't rush through it. If they're asking you questions and you, hey, can I come back to that? Can you give me something else? Don't rush through it. If you don't have an answer, it's okay for the time being. Let them go through the other questions and give you Take your time, think about it. It may be something that you didn't actually have to do at work. It could have been something that happened at home that you could answer them. So make sure you have, just think about things that you go through in life with interview questions. It don't have to be,
No.
it could be something you worked when I worked at a daycare, something when I was at school. It don't necessarily have to be in the industry. You just have to have an answer for every question given.
That's exactly right.
That's it.
Good advice right there, just on interviewing. All right, didn't know we were going to go through the interviewing track, but I think
Right.
that's important because that could be a stumbling block to some people.
Yes, because people don't know how to interview.
So if you know, okay, I'm sitting out there right now, I'm thinking about trying this whole thing out, I'm curious about it. All right, I'm buying what you're selling, and I believe that there's jobs out there for me. Okay, so then the next step is, picking a school where you could go through, and you said on your journey, you did some research, you found Blue Water.
Yes.
And that's where you came to school. So again, that's something that anyone out there can do. There are merchant marine schools training everywhere. There's opportunities to go and find out and get your education no matter where you're at, right? Tons of that out there. What are the things that you recommend people look for when they're looking for a school?
You want to look for a school that has the ordinary seaman program of school that has all of the classes you need to take to be a merchant mariner, because if you go to certain schools that they have, they're only going to give you three classes over here. Then you got to go way to San Diego, California to take 4 more classes. You want to get where there's a program for all of them. You come here, you get all the classes you need, and once you send off your stuff, bam, you got your MMC. You don't have to wait.
Hey, so, and again, like I said, we're biased, right? We believe we want you to come to Blue Water. I don't know exactly how other schools have everything set up, and perhaps things have changed, so you can go check out all that kind of stuff for yourself. But I will tell you this, here's one thing I have learned since being here. The way we structure it, because the courses are broken down individually, or the different classes are broken down inside of a course.
Right.
If someone happens to struggle with one of the courses, or they fail a course, right? We're still able to let them kind of get their certificates for the other courses. We just hold that one back, and they can come back and retest.
Okay.
And they only have to pay for a very small portion just to retake that class again, if it comes to that. I have seen some, and this is where I just, like a word of caution for everybody to look out. Like, if you miss any of them, you fail the whole thing, and you would have to pay the $1,800, the $2,000, the whatever the total fee is for the class. So it's just a question worth asking. Chances are you're not going to fail anything. We only have a handful of people, and honestly, most of it's they struggle a little bit with the pool and treading water and stuff like that. So sometimes they have to come back and do that one again. But it's worth asking the question, hey, what happens if I mess up on one part of this? And so you can protect the investment that you're making in yourself and everything.
Right, because you are your greatest investment.
You are your greatest investment. All right, so we got everybody tonight. We know there's jobs out there. We know you got to be willing to put yourself out there, pray, prepare, and approach.
That's
means
right.
you got to take action. You got to go do stuff.
You do.
So now you get a job. All right. So this has got to be kind of cool. Like, take me back and just tell me, like, what was it like the first day you just kind of stepped on the vessel, the ship, and everything? Kind of like, how did you feel? What was it? Just kind of tell everybody what that's like.
I could not stop smiling. I was so excited because, you know what I'm saying? You pray for things like this, and you finally hear, and it's like, oh my God, I'm not on the ground, I am on the ship. You sign in, they take you to your room, they help you take your bags. Well, some companies will help you take your bags. My ship that time had elevator, so they show you where you need to go. Then you have to go to the bridge and sign in, and they'll tell you, hey, you're gonna have to work tonight. This is your schedule. But because we got that kind of late, I did not have to work that night. I worked the next night. So they're kind of lenient depending on what job. But I was just so excited. I cleaned my room up. Then they did a Walmart run because we was in Charleston, South Carolina for like 3-4 days. So I brought a TV. I didn't want to use of course, I always bring my own covers, but I didn't like the curtains. I changed the curtains. I had a TV in there. I made that room mine because I was going to be there for 4 months. So I was excited. Yeah. I was so excited.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
So in the quarters that you were in, because I thought, again, think about it. Some of these people watching have no idea, right? So you got to kind of personalize a little bit yourself. You got to put your own covers. You got to bring in your own stuff. You got to kind of make it feel like your little home for 4 months.
You do, because you don't want to. I'm a person.
It's your space.
And I like colors. I don't like plaids and all that polka dots and stuff. No, I'm not doing all that. So you get to make it your own. You get to learn the vessel. You're coming into this industry brand new, so you don't know nobody. So everybody's kind of like introducing you, and hey, this is our new OS. I was the only female on the ship, not knowing that I was the only female in my department. So a lot of stuff that you get to learn different things. The food, the dynamic of how you eat, the crew mess. The offers was messed. They had a huge library, computers you can use. So you get all this stuff not knowing what you're getting yourself into. Yeah, you read about it, but actually being there is totally different.
Yeah. So
It's
maybe
different.
that helps some people realize
It's different.
what it's like to finally be there. So then you got your first job, you're working in your career, and then one of the things we say is like, this isn't just a job, right? This is your career.
This is your career.
And so as with any career, you want career growth, because career growth means more opportunity. So what does it take to kind of go from that OS, that's your starting point, everybody, to what would be next is like the AB, so that's the able-bodied, right? So that's kind of when you're leveling up and everything. So tell us about kind of the process of leveling up, and like what does that even mean, and how does that affect you, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so going as from an OS, you're going to go to AB. That's the very next level as a deck, but it's 3 different parts to AB. You have your AB special, you have your AB limited, and you have your AB unlimited. So you need C days. So just like I was on with MSC I was gone for 120 days. I was not necessarily on the ship, our boat was not moving all 128 days.
Gotcha.
So you're going to get accounted for those days for sea time, but you need at least 180 days to even get an AB special.
Okay.
So you jump from one ship to another assignment, depending if you stay with the company. So it just depends. Me, I enjoyed MSC, but I had some family stuff going on, so I did not go back. I found a company that I can go on and work 30 on, 30 days off. So you just have to figure out your niche, what you want to do. A lot of people will do those 120, and before the 120 is up, they're on another ship. So they're doing ship to ship. You can do that with MSC. I'm not sure how it works with the union, but it just depends. The more sea time you get, the more you're able to level up. And when you do come home, go to school. Go straight to school. Take some type of course. Even if you're going to do your AB class and you don't have your days yet, at least you got that out the way. So when you do get your days, you can fill out the application, pay your fees, and you can update your license that way.
And so 2 things I want to talk about. One, that you were talking about 30 days on, 30 days off, or this didn't work for me at this time, so I had to make a change over here to this. So another thing I think that's a huge benefit of the industry is the flexibility you can create for yourself with where you work.
Right.
Like what you just said this was a great steady thing, but then I had some stuff going on and I needed a 30-day, 30 off thing. So I just found a 30-day, 30 off thing. Right. It feels like to me that there's almost every schedule under the sun is available. You just have to pick and choose and figure out what works best for you. And,
you do.
And be flexible is what I kind of
because
tell people.
Some people don't really. They think, oh my God, I'm not joining you. And 120 days, that's too much. 120 days, that's too much. It may be, but honestly, to me, I was grounded for those 120. I fast, I prayed. A lot of things came to me when I was out there. God gave me so many different things that I can do. I don't necessarily have to stay for 120. Then trying the 30 days on, 30 days off. That worked better for me because I'm able to move around my schedule flexibly as far as appointments, hanging with my grandparents, doing stuff. So you're able to do that. You don't have to, oh my God, I'm not joining because I ain't going to stay on no job for no 120. You don't know what you would do. And honestly, then you make the most money when you out there long.
Yeah.
You do because you can't spend it.
That's right.
You can't go nowhere.
It's a savings account, right?
I was when I first got on that ship, the pandemic literally had just hit. So we was in South Carolina for a week. We came to Jacksonville for a week to get it was other military that was on the boat, so we had to get them back, to take them back with us. We went to Hawaii. We're traveling for 30 days on the water. There's no cell phone access. We talking to our family through email. So that right there was different. You have to be built for that kind of stuff. Because it's not for the weak. I'm used to talking to my grandma every day.
And every ship's different, right? Because there are some where there are different communication methods where you can communicate differently with people. Everyone's different.
It's different now.
Yeah, back then, listen, it's actually old. Like before the pandemic, you kids don't know.
There was limited access. We had 2 phones, one on the bridge and one on telecom, and everybody would try to use the phone, but it was just like it was a waiting game. So it kind of you have to be. It teaches you how to be humble and just respect the people that are out there because we didn't have access like that. Now you have Starlink. You could talk and on the phone in your room, and you don't have to go outside because you have access. You have Wi-Fi, so it's just different.
It is different.
It's different.
Yeah, so that's cool. All right, so you said something else that triggered a thought. Like this is another one of those things that I hear people say, right? It's like, I want to travel.
Right.
And then some people are like, well, do you actually get to travel and go places? And you just mentioned a few. So just
do.
talk about a little bit about the travel aspect of this and everything.
Okay, well, when I first started, we didn't get off the boat. We were actually anchored out in Saipan for like 3 months because of the pandemic. So we were anchored out.
Oh, the pandemic.
So they did let, and I want to say like towards the end of my hitch, they did let them get off. They had a crew boat that would come out and take them into the city or whatever, but I didn't go. I was like, no, I'm just going to stay where I'm at. But when you travel, you are able to get off the boat and go to the different countries. But you do have to make sure that your company, well, most companies will have a bus to come get you guys with an agent. The agent will come get you. They would take you to the bus because sometimes you do have to walk. You have to walk through the checkpoints, and you walk through with your TWIC card or your CAT card. Make sure you have all your at least 2 forms of ID with you. They always tell us to bring your passport, your TWIC card, or your CAT card, and they take you to customs. Everybody got to go through customs. You get stamped in, then they bring you back. Then they go, there might be so many people that they got to do 2 or 3 runs, and then the next day.
But you get to get off and go experience
you get
all
to
these different areas.
Eat whatever food you want, whatever excursions you want to get on, tattoos. I mean, some people like to go to the hotels. In different countries, you can only drink in a hotel, so they'll go and they'll drink. And they'll do all just whatever you want to do, but make sure when that bus is getting ready to leave, you need to make sure you are at least back there at least 20 to 30 minutes before they get there.
That's one thing you won't be late for right there, right?
Because if you miss that, you got to wait 2 hours to get on another one, depending on how it works. Or you have to Uber yourself back, and they don't have Uber and Lyft in different countries. You have to, it's like different apps. You got to download this and pay the money. Like you have to actually get approved to it. And then you're able to go back. You got to pay taxi and all that. Yeah.
So the lesson is, if you get off the boat, make sure you get ready and you know how to get back on the boat.
That's right. Make sure you take a picture of the bus schedule so you'll know they always have that at the gangway. Take a picture so you'll know, hey, I got to be back at 7. I want to get back before 9. So, just.
So hearing you talk, here's what I think is really cool. And I've known you for a while, so I've known your story. But it's neat. I'm getting down, like these are details.
Right.
And so this is what I think is really cool. What I've heard about your whole beginning now is it was a whole bunch of new experiences.
It was.
And so if that's appealing to you, right? If that's something where you're like, hey, I feel stuck, or I'm just not sure, or this is in a rut.
Right.
I mean, learning is nothing but, you're going to continue to grow. But you went through, had to go to school, and that was a whole new learning experience.
Right.
Had to find a job, and that was a whole new learning experience. Then you get the first day on the boat, and everything you get learned on the boat, right? That's a whole new learning experience. And then traveling around is a whole new learning experience. Look how rich your life is. Man. Just from the little bit of conversation we've had today, look how rich your life is with all these different learning experiences. So here's the big question, right? Is it worth it? Right? The investment you had to make in yourself to get to the point that you're at now and everything, is it worth it?
It was worth it. Back then when I went, I think the program was on like $1,500. You'll get that back plus. So if you're going to invest in yourself, just make sure you put money up.
But overall, the investment you've made in yourself for the experiences that you've had, your career's been worth it.
It's been worth it because I've always wanted to travel, and just to do it at somebody else's expense. I didn't have to pay for no flight itinerary. I didn't have to pay for my seat. I didn't have to pay for a hotel. I had to do any of that. The company does all of that. Even like, okay, so this how they do. So they pay for travel. So say I got to be at the ship on Sunday. So, and my ship is in Dubai. I have to be there. So Thursday, probably Wednesday we'll leave. We'll get to Duca, maybe they'll send us to Duca in the Crown Plaza Hotel, and you'll stay there overnight. Room service. They have unlimited food, drinks. You can eat. Well, they even have a club. They got a club inside, a club outside. They have a bar inside. They have like 2 different restaurants. So you got all this food. Like, I
love it.
Man, just big old nice room. Beautiful room. And then they'll tell you, hey, the bus is going to be to take us to the ship at 9. Everybody got to be downstairs by 9. So you check out. Everybody get on the bus. You go to the boat, and then that's when work begins.
I love it. I feel like that sounded so good. It sounded so Dubai. And I feel like we need to put a little legal disclaimer. Not all experiences will be just like DD Forehands. You know what I mean? Like that's a blessed experience, man. That's a lot of fun. But the bottom line, man, the opportunity's out there. Right? That's
why I've always encouraged people, like, if you really want to get into this industry, do it. Don't wait. Don't say, hey, I'm going to wait. Like, even if you got to put $300 from each check till I pay it off, do that. Blue Water works with you with that. So you don't actually have your full amount, but just do it.
you know, the couple of things as we kind of start to land our first ever little talk here and everything. This has been cool.
Yeah.
Like, here's what I kind of heard coming through. One, there's definitely jobs out there.
There are.
And two, you have to be willing to act, right? To go get the job, you got to work and all that kind of stuff. That's all part of it.
Right.
And three, this industry offers you a lot of rich experiences where you can experience things that you never thought you might ever experience, right?
I never thought I would be going to Dubai.
Oh my gosh,
My God.
that sounds crazy. I've only seen that on TV.
Man.
That's amazing, man. So, well, very cool. Well, thank you for joining us for My Maritime Career. We certainly hope that you would make this your Blue Water year. If there's any questions that we can answer for you, feel free to call our front desk. Our admin team would love to help you. I want to thank Dee Dee for hanging out with us today.
You're very welcome.
She's the best. So find her. She's all over the place. It's easy to find her and everything. And we appreciate all of you for hanging out with us for the show and this information. I'm Trey. And again, just make this your Blue Water year. Thanks a lot.
All right. Peace, guys.